quickly talk about Oppenheimer. Honestly, this movie, I can talk about it for hours. I won't say it's a chore, but it really kind of felt like one. I didn't enjoy this anywhere near as much as I think I should have. Yeah. Based on the book American Prometheus, it had a $100 million budget, pulled $950 million worldwide. More at the time of this recording, couldn't be bothered. This is a film that's densely paced for its runtime, leaves you ultimately with a feeling of regret for the man himself. And that's where this shines the strongest. Honestly, this, if you were expecting a film about the Manhattan Project that will actually spell everything out for you, this is not that film. This does require to have a bit of knowledge on the subject, at least on the political turmoil and situation at the time. Also the urgency of requiring nuclear weapons. And I think without that prefix, if you don't look at it, if you're looking for a historical drama that is beat by beat and explains the whole situation, this is not it. This does a lot of time jumping, forwards and backwards. And although beautifully captured, I do find this disrupts the film somewhat. I think this having a more structured narrative, or traditionally structured narrative, would have actually eased the viewer into this. It didn't really play on the tensions. It was just happening, then it wasn't, then it's forwards, then it's back. This sort of hurts that the relationship with the film that you might get otherwise. It starts off in 1926 with J. Robert Oppenheimer as a student at Cambridge. And does do a brief... This movie has actually done a number on me. I have very mixed feelings about this film. On a technical achievement level, it's damn near unprecedented. There's been some big crazy sets built over time, but I think this really, in some ways, takes the cake. This one really hurt. It hurt so bad. I had to do a lot of reading on this. I didn't read the book though. Whew, I was gonna, and then I thought, no, I didn't enjoy the film. I really don't think I'm gonna enjoy the book. I didn't enjoy the film narratively. It just, quite often, and I mean, we've seen it with Queen. We've seen it with so many, Elton John, rock. Unlike a lot of biopics, Oppenheimer doesn't do a great job at trying to wash over everything. In fact, I think it very much so hangs on the man's regret. And, it hurts. It hurts to watch. As you're watching this film, you're constantly thinking, this man has struggles. Starring Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr., Matt Damon. The list just goes on and on. Casey Affleck, Gary Oldman, Josh Hartnett. This is a star-studded event. This really should be a big event. This is the biggest event. Yet it is not the biggest event. I felt a little let down. I seen Barbie, right, instead of watching Oppenheimer, and I gotta say I enjoyed Barbie more. Whoa, I'm gonna cop some hate for that. But that's the truth. Usually biopics, especially these days, tend to skip past some of the negatives and show everything on a high note. Not always, but it's been quite often the trend. And the only fresh and surprising thing was they sort of went into the tragedy of a guy getting paid a bunch of money to make a big bomb, and then regretting it. Hubris springs to mind. And this is sort of done with Albert Einstein's scene with him at the lake, and me. I really just couldn't get into it. I couldn't invest myself in it. the use of the famous quote from the Bhagavad Gita, I have become deaf. I felt like that was used improperly, to say the least, and poorly, to say the best. I think the CGIing of Florence Pugh's dress, fair enough. That's what you got to do in certain countries that are a little more modest. I would also say that I think the sex scenes felt unnecessary. The relationships here were not shown to be healthy, and was never any love. And I don't know if that's a lack of chemistry, but I just felt there was no love shown. That really hurt this. Oppenheimer himself was a victim. And so that sort of shows that. He was a victim of his own hubris. He was, a victim of his own country. He was a victim of his own mind. And that's sort of shown. Even his wife, though, and I found this was a bit weird, Catherine Oppenheimer, portrayed by Emily Blunt. Oh, there's not a nice scene with her in it. There isn't. There's just not. I don't know. They didn't show them as likable. I felt it really hard to relate or to find any of them likable. This is like, I got a beautiful mind, but I'm an asshole. And it didn't really work for me. Even Gary Oldman, okay, they shoehorned that scene in, they had to build the set very quickly, apparently. Yada yada. That didn't happen till a year later. I'm not going to give this a whole bunch of historical slaps on, I think it's an artistic expression. Christopher Nolan kind of knows what he's doing, but I think he's just fumbled with the biopic. And that isn't because he wasn't interesting. It isn't because they're not played well. I mean, nearly everybody lands their prospective role here. Absolutely standout performances, though, in this. I mean, I'm actually going to flip this. Cillian Murphy's great, no doubt. He absolutely nailed his performance. I'm not going to say a bad thing about it. I really think Peaky Blinders sort of set him up for the chain smoking every 2 seconds and staring. There was just this something in their performance that I don't know. I didn't feel. Robert Downey Jr.'s fairly good here. I don't think he does much with the character. They do and they don't. They set up. They don't really pay off. Christopher Nolan shot the black and white scenes, however, at flash forwards from our standpoint, in Super XX, a 70mm film, which is non-existent. So, virtually non-existent these days. And the good people at Kodak were actually able to reproduce the film for him. I mean, there's that part of the auteur where you're like, well, okay, they select the right materials to use for their expression, and that's great. I'm torn up on this one. I think too often we focus on the materials, not the art. It could be, this is shot with a special hand wound. I don't care. I just don't care. If you cannot move me with what you are putting on the screen, don't even try. I would say Tarantino did this better in Hateful Eight, where he used stupid lenses and carried on to big wide shots. Makes it really put you there. But it was entertaining. And I can't understand whether it's a framing thing or... Talk about perfect casting. Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett is Ernest Lawrence. The dude looks like he just jumped off the picture. I thought that was kind of cool. All around, I'd say the casting's great. Cillian Murphy is absolutely amazing. I think he'll probably get an Oscar for this. I would be surprised if he doesn't get an Oscar. Jean Tatlock here, played by Florence Pugh. Same thing, I think, as Emily Blunt, where I think these women, unfortunately, were written poorly. I don't know whether that's fault of the book, fault of actual life, or portrayal of these women. Not to say that they weren't trying, I just think something was lost there. It felt a bit, I'm the nagging wife and I'm an alcoholic, and I am the crazy communist and I want to love you, Tony. Actually, she reminded me of the lady of the night from The Sopranos. I love you, Tony. Yeah. I'm not sure if I should say that in that voice. Wow. Oppenheimer ultimately was led down by his country. He was, tasked to do a job that I think a lot of men would not have liked to have done. And then sort of vilified for it. And this is very much around the story of, or to me, this resonates with the feeling I got from Alan Turing, where these men were both also propped up to assist, let's just say, the Allies and the Americans in the theatre of war, and then were vilified for their private life and